Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Avoid pushing someone to the corner or with the back against the wall in any disputes that you might have, unless you really want that, because you got 2 points then. There's only 2 options. One, that person who you pushed against the wall will use everything that he has at his disposal to attack you and might beat you, has nothing to lose at that point, or will collapse. And probably that's the hope, you push it over there in order to make that entity collapse. In this case is Russia. Russia is not militarily pushed to a corner or with the back against the wall, that's for sure. But the Western countries, I think, went all the way politically to designate Russia as this kind of country, light, that kind of country, and so on. Now the last one, the latest statement from the European Union was yesterday that they designated Russia as a terrorist state. There's no, what else could be the worst? Terrorist state, what else? So that's Russia is with its back against the wall on the political terms. What else is there to be? Now economically, they're almost there, and militarily they're not. But remember, once you use all your aces against a person in a dispute, you have no more aces. You're done. You're done. So then the same here. What else can they do? Designate Russia as? And sometimes when these countries, sometimes they are designated for good reason. Oh, you're this, you're that, or you're labeled this, you're labeled that. That's true. But some with protest and say, no, I'm not that. And then when they're designated or called certain kind of names, you or that person or entity take over and say, you know what? How about I'm going to use this as being really my status? I'm a terrorist country, therefore, I will live up to this term, this designation. So Russia right now has nothing to lose on that term. It's been called mass murderers, criminals, war criminals, now they're terrorists. What else could that be? They killed children, they killed old people, they destroyed hospitals, they destroyed kindergartens and so on. What else is to do? What more? They destroy infrastructure, they leave the Ukrainians without food, electricity, water, what else could it be done? They rape, they pillage, everything. What else? There's no more. No more you can attach to this country in evil terms. You can, and you say, well, that's because of the behavior. Okay, that means what? They can do whatever they want because there's no more escalation, verbal escalation. What else can you put attached to Russia? It's already a terrorist state. War crimes, wherever, those guys should be whatever, they're leaders. So then they might say, okay, yeah, all right, then we're going to show you what's all about. In this case, we have this guy, the chief of the Wagner private military company called, contractors, mercenaries, however you want to call them, Prigozhin. And if you remember the incident with the sledgehammer, where it was a guy, a prisoner, a Russian prisoner in Ukraine, the prisoner volunteered to be exchanged and come and meet his friends, quote unquote, in Russia. When he was exchanged, there's a video allegedly showing a guy with a sledgehammer smashing his head and killing the guy, saying that this guy was a traitor and he snitched on his brothers and blah blah blah. Okay, now that supposedly it was done by the Wagner group. It was not authenticated by whomever needs to authenticate it, and some European Union bodies started some investigation and so on. Now Prigozhin, because he was called and mercenary group and all that, which I don't know, maybe they are, maybe they're not, they're not, I don't know. And even if they are, this is what he did. He sent the European Union a sledgehammer. I don't know, is that a warning? Let's see what he did exactly. This article comes from the Jerusalem Post. Wagner's Prigozhin gives bloody sledgehammer to European Union for terror designation. So, you call me a terrorist, and I'm going to show you what terrorist is. It seems this is where this guy comes from right now. It says that one Russian extremist group sent a gruesome gift, quote-unquote, to European Parliament members. What did you expect? Start asking for forgiveness? So, Wagner mercenary group head Yevgeny Prigozhin gave a sledgehammer covered in fake blood to a European Parliament representative on Thursday morning in response to an initiative designated the PMC, private mercenary private contractor company, is a terrorist organization, according to a Telegram group. Prigozhin sent the sledgehammer in a violin case as an information case to those voting in EU Parliament. So the Putin ally said that he had held a meeting with Wagner Group commanders and they had decided to declare the European Parliament dissolved. Yeah, it's not only you who has jurisdiction and authority. We just take it ourselves. Before, remember that it happened a lot of times in history when, for instance, in the medieval times, you couldn't be a king or anything in a Catholic world unless the Pope said yes or no, and then you didn't have the power, the legitimacy, if the Pope would not come and tell you. So that's how much power the Pope had then, not no more. And I would say fortunately, because it's not its job to do that things. So then it was, there were some individuals, kings, who didn't give a fuck about the Pope and say, you know what, I'm going to be the ruler. And if you remember that little story with Napoleon that grabbed the crown and crowned himself, that's one incident. But there were many, many from before, including you start your own organization, which is your denomination, religious denomination. The Church of England, remember? It was started by, what's his name? I can't remember, the king, who again was, I think he committed, not adultery or anything. He married another woman. He was not supposed to divorce the first one, or he was still married with that one, something like that. And it was a no-no. So the Pope said no. So he said, okay, I'm going to start my own religion. So I think that's kind of like the Church of England started, because the king said, you know what, I'm not going to listen to that guy in Rome for what? Whatever he tells me, no. So they started their own organization, their own structure, which is functioning just fine as of today. So Prigozhin said, you know what, we have the authority to dissolve you. Even if he doesn't, he just takes it. He awards it to himself. I mean, you call me however you want and I'm supposed to respect you. Even if that's true. I'm not saying the Wagner group is, the piano player, the ping pong player. No, it's whatever they are. Kill people. That's their job for money. So it says earlier in November, a video of a sledgehammer execution of a Russian soldiers who defected to the Ukrainian side of the conflict had circulated on social media. Following this, the EU Parliament voted to identify the Wagner Group as a terrorist organization. Pro-Russian bloggers said it was revenge for his alleged treachery. Now, this guy was killed, obviously. And it says here that the EU Parliament voted on Wednesday to declare Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism. Of course, the European Parliament argued that Moscow's military strikes on civilian targets such as energy infrastructure, hospitals, schools and shelters violate international law. I'm pretty sure the other one did not do that, so let's only designate this one. If they did it, designate it however you want. But then you might look at other countries' record, and then it's very politically incorrect, because some of them are in the European Union. Anyway, who are the Wagner mercenary group? It's a private military group with close ties to the Kremlin. All right, well, that's good. So, this is what Prigozhin said about the Telegram video, the incident with the sledgehammer. He said, I prefer to watch this story in the theater. As for the executed, in this show, it is clear that he did not find happiness in Ukraine, but instead met with unkind, although fair people. It seems to me that this film is called The Dog Receives the Dog's Death. Well, this is when you have I would say, a certain kind of people pushed to a certain kind of corner. They have nothing else to lose, and it's either or at this point. So he knows, Prigozhin and Wagner, that being designated, that's the end of the line for them. So what are they going to do? You have two options. One, just collapse and say, okay, I give up. Now you can do whatever you want with me. Or the other one, no, I'm going to do what you say I do. And then you're not going to like it, because they're not going to like it. Remember, this is a sledgehammer. You know what could happen next? Political assassinations, if they really want. Or not only political assassinations, you designate them as a terrorist organization. That means these guys, the Wagner, which have the capability, can blow up many places all around the world, including the European Union. So, against the wall, you might have that one. Or you might have just simply some bombs exploding under some cars, or, you know, poisoning, successful poisoning, not the ones that occurred in London with those supposedly, allegedly Russian agents who were very unprofessional. Because why? Their jobs are to be killers. They did not do it, and that means they failed. I hope they got fired. I mean, it's like a job. That's what, if, again, you call those guys like that, and then you expect them to act like that, or vice versa. They act like that, you call them like that, and they will continue to act like that. So yeah, Wagner Group right now has no way to turn around. So if they are a terrorist organization, and it seems like they don't give a fuck how they are labeled, they will act accordingly. And that's even worse, because I didn't hear yet of assassination or bombs or anything like that in Europe done by the Wagner Group. Well, I'm expecting that to happen. Not that I want, no, it's just that this is the normal course, even if it's in psychology. I can remember the term when, in a group, each person has its own designation, like this is the clown, this is the lieutenant, this is the leader, and they act upon that. Not only, it's not self-fulfilling prophecy, it's called somehow, I just can't remember it right now. It doesn't really matter. Is when you play the role that was assigned to you. So even if you don't agree with that, you will do it because, oh, what the hell now? You can't remember the term. Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.